On this week's episode of the Rambler Sports Locker, men's basketball hits its stride, and RSL reporter Tim Edmonds asked students how they feel about NBA All-Star Weekend coming to Chicago.
Also, women's basketball gets back on the winning track, and we have a few holiday special segments to ring in Valentine's Day.
Welcome back to this week's episode of the Rambler Sports Locker. I'm Haley Samples.
And I'm Omari Salisbury. Last Thursday, the Loyola women's basketball team ended its 3-game losing streak. The Ramblers held the Sycamores to 30% shooting in the second half on their way to a 65-55 win. Junior Alexis Meyer led the way with 14 points. On the following Saturday, the Ramblers got another victory against Evansville. Tierra Wallace led the team with 26 points and a 77-47 win over the Aces. The win moves the Ramblers to 15-7 overall and 5-5 for conference play. The Ramblers play again on Friday the 14th against Illinois State.
This past Sunday, February 9th, the men's basketball team came out victorious in a heated win against Valparaiso. 6'9" center Cameron Krutwig was the leading scorer for the Ramblers with 20 points and 6 rebounds. Freshman Marquise Kennedy trailed right behind Krutwig with 15 points and 6 rebounds. This game was tight until the very end. With only 40 seconds left, the Ramblers were in the lead with a score of 69-68. Krutwig was able to knock down one of 2 crucial free throws with 11 seconds left on the clock. In the final play, Kennedy stole the ball from Valparaiso with just 3 seconds remaining in the game, leading the Ramblers to their 70-68 win. Last night, February 12th, the men's team brought home a 77-66 point win against the Evansville Purple Aces. This was a predicted win because the Purple Aces have a grand total of 0 MVC wins this season. The top 2 scorers for the Ramblers were juniors Lucas Williamson with 20 points and Krutwig with 14. This win put the Ramblers at 2-0 for the season against the Purple Aces. Be sure to catch the men's basketball team at their next home game on Saturday, February 15th against the number 1 team in the conference, Northern Iowa.
The NBA's most glamorous stage, the NBA All-Star Weekend, is coming to the United Center this weekend right here in Chicago. RSL reporter Tim Edmonds was on the campus getting people's opinions on the big event coming to town.
The NBA All-Star Game is making its return to Chicago for the first time since 1988. Still, local fans will not be able to see Bulls star Zach LaVine, as the shooting guard did not make the cut in a crowded Eastern Conference field.
It makes sense that he's on All-Star because it seems like they're going with the approach that they're trying to get good players from good teams, and right now the Bulls are not the best team.
While most Loyola students will not be able to attend due to high ticket prices, others believe it's an excellent opportunity for the city's businesses and hotels to cash in.
I was looking on like SeatGeek and its tickets were like $1,200. I'm not about to pay $1,200 because I don't have $1,200 in my budget for that. I mean, it'd be really cool, but I mean, a lot of people do want to go. They bring in a lot of revenue for the All-Star Game, so it makes sense why the tickets are so high.
Economy. Chicago, we need that outside money to come in. We need our restaurants, our hotels, and other ancillary small business, big businesses to profit from this event. So it's good for us.
Last year's host city of Charlotte saw its hotels post close to 171% increases in revenue. This year, Chicago's hotels and businesses are hoping for a similar effect.
Thanks, Tim, and Bulls fans. Don't worry, you'll still get to see some Zach LaVine. He will be competing in the 3-point shootout Saturday night.
On Saturday, February 8th, the Loyola men's volleyball team lost a 3-0 match against Purdue-Fort Wayne, putting the Ramblers on a 3-game losing streak. The Ramblers are struggling this season with an overall record of 3-8. The Ramblers have the opportunity to turn this 3-game losing streak around and pull out a road win at their matchup tonight, February 13th, against Quincy University.
Tomorrow is Valentine's Day, but you may not know that today is February 13th, is another holiday on the calendar.
RSL reporter Shelby Kluver has more.
Every year, February 14th comes around for better or for worse. It's a holiday that can carry some pretty mixed emotions and create some pretty strong opinions. But regardless of your stance on the Day of Love, there's another holiday in February that's arguably better. We're talking about Galentine's Day. On February 13th, the world comes together to celebrate all of the beautiful friendships and incredible women we have in our lives. And as I was marinating in all of this, I couldn't help but think about a few moments where women really blew me away. So here are my picks for the top 6 moments where women athletes, better known just as athletes, won 2019. We begin this list with the incredible Naomi Osaka. The champion of the 2019 Australian Open, which was her 2nd straight Grand Slam title, has been making waves in the tennis community for years. Her story is full of ups and downs, but one thing is certain. We'll be hearing much more from her in the years to come. Next, who can forget when Alex Morgan iconically sipped tea after scoring a goal against England during the World Cup and on her birthday? But this moment goes much further than its memeability. It was a highlight of an unparalleled run by the U.S. women's soccer team, a team that has, by all accounts, put soccer on the map in America. At third, there could be no woman other than Sam Kerr. The Australian soccer player scored 4 goals during a World Cup game this summer, completing the hat trick and making her the first Aussie soccer player ever, man or woman, to do so in a final. Hats off to her. Moving right along, we have to talk about Tia-Clair Toomey. In August, she took home the gold at the CrossFit Games, making her the first woman ever to be crowned fittest on earth for 3 straight years. Our next woman doesn't need an introduction. The world knows the name Simone Biles. At just 22 years old, she's an Olympic gold medalist, 6-time national title holder, and, no big deal, has a dismount named after her that has been deemed too dangerous for most gymnasts to attempt. And in 2019, she became the first woman to ever compete in the triple-double, which has been called one of the hardest moves in gymnastics. Finally, what would this list be without an appearance from Megan Rapinoe? She was the face and heart of the U.S. women's soccer team as they stormed into a first-place FIFA World Cup finish this past summer. She won the Golden Cup and the Golden Boot Awards, and she was named FIFA's Player of the Year. But most importantly, she's constantly been on the front lines of the fight for equality. She's repeatedly shed light on the difference between men and women's soccer teams, from the pay gap to the revenue disparity to differences in who gets to play on grass versus turf. Her drive, spirit, and complete dominance make her our ultimate Galentine's Day gal. Of course, this list could go on forever. When it comes to incredible women in sports, there's no shortage. So you don't have to wait until Galentine's Day to cheer them on. All you have to do is show up. I'm Shelby Kluver. Back to you at the desk.
Thanks, Shelby. Our Ramblers showed out this week at the Mayo Invitational in South Bend, Indiana, with freshman Isabella Velasco breaking the Loyola 60-meter hurdle record. The distance relay team placing 4th overall, and the men's triple jump having 3 people placed in the top 10. Also at the Mayo Invitational, 2 juniors, Mimi Ramers and Taryn Cullings, finished in 3rd and 4th in the 3,000-meter run. You can catch our Ramblers competing again in Allendale, Michigan at the GVSU Big Meet on Friday the 14th.
We have one more special holiday segment for you today.
Yes, one more time. In the name of love, here's Pablo Rosero with this week's Top 5.
Love is in the air, and in this Valentine's-themed Top 5, that is definitely the case. So without further ado, let's take a look at my top 5 athletes with Valentine's Day-related names. The Hart Memorial Trophy may not be a player, but Chicago fans are all too familiar with the award. The award is given to the NHL's best player since 1923 and has been awarded to Blackhawks players 7 times. Patrick Kane was the Hawks' most recent winner, receiving the award after a sensational 2015 season. At number 4 is former Bears coach Lovie Smith. Smith famously led the Chicago Bears to their last Super Bowl appearance in 2006, but is now the head coach at the University of Illinois. In his biggest moment of the year, he led Illinois to an upset win over 6th-ranked Wisconsin. Coming in at number 3 is Cleveland Cavaliers forward Kevin Love. Love, a 2016 NBA champion, has one of the most appropriate Valentine's Day-related names. A holiday known for loving your significant other goes hand in hand with the Cavs forward. Number 2 is a special one to the city of Chicago. Derrick Rose grew up on the South Side and gave the Chicago Bulls their best season in recent history. Not only did Rose lead them to the first seed in the East in 2011, but he was also named the youngest MVP in NBA history. The biggest no-brainer and the number 1 Valentine's Day-related name on this list goes to the Valentine brothers, Drew and Denzel. Drew is an assistant coach on Porter Moser's staff here at Loyola and was a coach during the phenomenal Final Four run in 2018. Denzel was a first-round pick in 2014 and was traded to the Chicago Bulls last season. Valentine's Day is all about spending time with someone special to you, and these 2 brothers understand and value that time together. I'm Pablo Rosero, back to you at the desk.
Thanks, Pablo. Man, Chicago sure does miss Derrick Rose.
Yeah, he probably got all those injuries falling for love.
Yep. For our full episodes and the chance to get in on the conversation, follow and like our social media handles for an up-to-date look at all things Rambler Sports Locker.
Thanks for joining us tonight. I'm Haley Samples.
And I'm Omari Salisbury. Check back next week for another episode of the Rambler Sports Locker.
And as always, don't forget to to turn out the lights.